Good evening, class. Good evening, class. Is my voice audible? Selamat malam,
Good
teman-teman.
morning. Good evening. Sorry.
Good evening. It's okay. It's still morning for you. Where are you from? Are you from the United States?
No. I'm not
Okay,
that
so
focused.
how
Sorry.
are you today, Kak Hasna?
So. I think there is nothing special, but it doesn't mean that today is a bad day too. And how about you?
Wow, what a day. Thank you for sharing. And hello, Kak Nuri and Kak Santi. Are you available right there?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. So, how do you do, Kak Nuri?
Um, I'm a freelancer
Mm-hmm.
right now, and it's my first time during this class. Nice to meet you all.
Okay, nice to meet you, Kak Nuri. Thank you for choosing English with as your English learning partner. Mungkin saya ada kedatangan beberapa murid baru ya tadi dari admin, cuma saya nggak notice siapa aja. Nanti bisa langsung ya, just welcome yourself and introduce yourself to the class. And then Kak Santi, hello Kak Santi.
Hello, Miss. Sorry, I'm from toilet.
Oh yeah, that's fine, Kak. How are you today?
Good. How about you, Miss?
Okay. Sebentar ya, saya ini. Ini belum ada yang lain sih di waiting room saya. And then Kak Glancy Grace. Hello, Kak Glancy Grace. Are you available?
Hello.
Hello, yeah, I can hear you. Are
Okay.
you new to this class?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, let me put your name here. Wait for a moment. I will put your name on my attendance list.
Okay.
So how can I call you? Kak Glancy or Kak
Just,
Grace?
just Grace.
Just Grace.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
All right, let's wait for some minutes for the other students and we will start at 7:05 p.m. for our lesson today.
Ah.
In the meantime, let's do our roll call, the attendance list, yeah. Number 1, Kak Dik Dik. Not yet. Kak Axel. Kak Nabila Hasna.
Me.
Okay, Kak Fabio. Kak Haura. Kak Mursyid. Kak Santi.
Hello, Miss.
Okay, Kak Cece.
Present, Miss.
Kak Sylvia. Not yet. Kak Laurencia.
Present, Miss.
Kak Wafik Anissa. Kak Nuri. Okay, Kak Grace. All right, we
present,
have
Miss.
more students here. Kak Fabio and Kak Hasan. Wait for a moment. All right, let's check it again later. And now let's jump into our lesson. But before we start our lesson, I encourage you guys to turn on your camera because we want to see each other and yeah, make friends. Nah, hari ini kita akan lanjut ke pelajaran berikutnya, yaitu tentang listening, bagian section 3 and 4. Wait, more students are coming in. Jika ada yang belum dipresensi, nanti bisa bilang di akhir pertemuan aja, nggak apa-apa ya. Alright, without any further ado, so let's start our meeting by looking at our lesson plan. Here is our lesson plan, and for today we are continuing to listening section 3 and 4. At the end of this meeting, I will give you a practice just like yesterday, but particularly for part 2, 3, and 4, as we have not enough time, less time to practice for part 2, I will give it to you today. So is there anyone still remember what is listening section 1 is about? Apakah ada yang masih ingat listening section 1 itu tentang apa?
Conversation, if I'm not mistaken.
Ya, conversation. Lalu ada lagi tentang apa lagi?
And the second one, it is like one person and talk, explain about something, or yeah, I forget the details, but it is something like that.
Yeah, that's correct. So for the first section is the easiest section. Usually it's a daily conversation talk about a form or any kind of daily topics. But for section 2, it is one person talking about something, and it is still in daily conversation topics. Right now, we are moving further to section 2. Section 3 and 4, which means this is listening part 2 for this IELTS bootcamp. So you can see here, apakah PPT saya sudah kelihatan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So for listening meeting 2, we are going to learn about enhancing comprehension and attention to detail. Listening question types for part 3 and 4 is harder than section 1 and 2. Yesterday, we stopped here at matching. Now we are continuing to labeling diagram and flowcharts, short answer questions, completing sentences, and completing notes. What about section 3 and section 4? What is that about? So for listening part 3, you will find more than one person discuss about something, usually 2 until 3 person. And it is no longer daily conversation topic. It is educational or academic topics. And maybe some of you ask, how can I be familiar with this kind of topics? The only way to make you familiar, to make you recognize all the vocabulary will be used in this section is by practice. You have to practice listening to any English news. I recommend you to hear CNN news, and then BBC movies or National Geographic. What is that? The documentary or that kind of things. Usually talk about academic paper or assignment, and some people talk about school facility. I don't think so, but yeah, it's academic paper. It's always about academic. Maybe talking about the found the what is that? What is it called? The Egypt mummy, and then a geologist found something on the geological site in Egypt. Or maybe they found a historical heritage from Ming Dynasty or something about that. They will give you a recording about that. You might consider this section difficult and confusing because you will hear more than one person talking. Bedanya ini ya, sama yang di section 1 sama 2. Kalau 1 itu 2 orang dan biasanya jelas cewek cowok. Tapi kalau di section 2 itu kan cuma 1 orang yang ngomong jadi lebih kedengeran. Untuk section 3 itu lebih sedikit sulit dan membingungkan karena ada lebih dari 1 orang yang ngomong. And then what about listening part 4? You will find one person talking, usually a professor talking about academic subject. Now, this one is the hardest because this section is challenging because of the higher level of language. Because it is a professor, you have to pay attention. And for part 1, part 2, and part 3, you are given some time to look at the question for around 1 until 2 minutes for 5 questions and then pauses and then 5 questions. But for part 4, you have only 1 minute to read the whole question. There will be 10 questions in part 4 and you have a short time to look at the question. So that makes it harder than previous section. Jadi kalau di part 4 itu biasanya, ini biasanya ya tapi nggak semuanya, mereka menunjukkan pertanyaannya itu langsung 10. Dan kita cuma dikasih waktu yang sangat singkat. Lalu profesornya itu ngomongnya sangat cepat. The professor will talk really, really fast. So you have to do active listening. While listening, you have to catch the answer for each question. Itu untuk yang listening part 4. Alright, before we jump further, is there any questions about part 3 and part 4 overview? Adakah yang mau ditanyakan tentang penjelasan part 3 sama part 4-nya? Masih aman? Is my voice still audible, guys?
You are audible.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the question types. Teman-teman boleh banget ya nanti kalau misalkan saya bertanya gitu, boleh dijawab. Kalau misalkan mengerti tapi bingung mau jawab pakai bahasa Indonesia atau bahasa Inggris, bahasa Indonesia juga nggak apa-apa kok. Misalkan, okay, Miss, atau I have a question, Miss, tentang ini tadi gimana, it's okay. I will welcome all kind of questions. As long as it is about IELTS. Okay, let's continue with question type 5. Kemarin kita berhenti di 4, yaitu yang matching. Nah, sekarang kita lanjut ke yang nomor 5. Labeling diagram and flow chart. Choose the correct option from a list or write the correct answer. This is the example. Let me play you the audio.
Now,
Iya, silahkan Kak Hasan. Ada yang mau ditanyakan? Hello, Kak Hasan. Is there anything that you want to ask about section 3 and 4?
Clear enough, Miss.
Oh, okay. All right. Why are you raising your hand?
Kepencet.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Let's go back to the example, ya. Tentang completing flow charts. Please listen to the sound, to the audio recording, and look at my cursor. My cursor will show you where are we right now. Jadi silahkan didengarkan, kursor saya bakal tunjukin sekarang itu kita lagi di sini ngisi bagian ini gitu. Saya akan play audionya. Coba dicek apakah terdengar.
now listen and answer questions 25 to 30.
All right, let's do it.
So, shall we plan what we have to do for this assignment?
Okay.
First, we have to decide on our research question. So, how about, is there a relationship between hours of sleep and number of dreams?
Okay. Then we need to think about who we'll do the study on. About 12 people?
Right. And shall we use other psychology students?
Let's use people from a different department. What about history?
Yes. They might have interesting dreams. Or literature students.
I don't really know any.
Okay, forget that idea. Then we have to think about our methodology. So we could use observation, but that doesn't seem appropriate.
No. It needs to be self-reporting, I think. And we could ask them to answer questions online.
But in this case, paper might be better, as they'll be doing it straight after they wake up. In fact, while they're still half asleep.
Right. And we'll have to check the ethical guidelines for this sort of research.
Because our experiment involves humans, so there are special regulations.
Yes. I had a look at those for another assignment I did. There's a whole section on risk assessment, and another section on making sure they aren't put under any unnecessary stress.
Let's hope they don't have any bad dreams.
Yeah.
Then, when we've collected all our data, we have to analyse it and calculate the correlation between our two variables. That's time sleeping and number of dreams. And then present our results visually in a graph.
Right, and the final thing is to think about our research and evaluate it. So that seems quite straightforward.
Yeah. So now let's...
All right. That's about completing flowchart example. Do you find it difficult or it's just fine for you? Apakah terdengar susah atau masih aman teman-teman untuk yang completing flowcharts?
Lebih
Ya,
susah sih.
silakan Kak Nuri.
Ya, halo Miss. Aku tuh mau nanya, aku juga kan beberapa kali tuh udah mock up test juga nih soal listening. Karena kadang-kadang tuh listening tuh suka dua apa ya? Misal nih kita ngedengernya awalnya tadi departmentnya yang lain, terus sekarang diganti jadi history gitu. Mostly itu emang di conversation yang apa? Kalimat kedua kah jawabannya? Ini kita cheating-nya lah ya gitu. Misal aku nanya cheating-nya gitu karena mostly kan pasti apa soalnya ya begitu diulang-ulang gitu. Nah, mostly tuh apakah yang kedua, ketiga tuh atau di akhir tuh pasti jawabannya misal nih kita udah ngeblank nih karena dari awal nih udah kayak aduh gimana nih gitu, udah kelewat macem-macem. Nah, itu tuh pasti kayak gitu kah atau memang kita emang harus make sure benar-benar dengerin dari awal kayak gimana atau gimana gitu? Oke, thank you Miss.
Okay, thank you so much for the great question. Bagus banget ya pertanyaannya. Jadi, biasanya saya punya 2 tips untuk hal tersebut. Yang pertama, look at the pressure of the word. Jadi, lihat penekanan pada kata-katanya. Biasanya, nggak semua ya, tapi biasanya jawabannya itu yang intonasinya tuh dibuat-buat sama dia. Kayak misalkan yang graph, ini tadi dia bilangnya sampai graph gitu. Nah, itu kelihatan banget. Terus yang history, ini juga dia tadi bilangnya tuh pakai penekanan kekuatan banget gitu. Sedangkan dia bilang waktu literature, psychology itu biasa aja. Nah, itu yang harus diperhatikan. Tapi sebenarnya kalau buat yang pemula mungkin kayak nggak kedengeran ya, dia ini neken apa emang aksennya yang begitu. Tapi kalau misalkan kita udah sering latihan, nanti lama-lama kebiasaan, kedengeran, yang mana yang sengaja dibuat-buat sama dia. Lalu yang kedua adalah, kadang dia ubah jawabannya. Itu namanya distractor. Nah, distractor ini bisa ada di awal, bisa ada di akhir, bisa ada di tengah-tengah. So, what is the cheat sheet? Yeah, you have to listen the whole thing first. Kalau di TOEFL, yang TOEFL ITP, itu gampang. Biasanya jawabannya di bagian akhir. Masalahnya di IELTS itu nggak jelas. Kadang bisa di awal, kadang bisa di akhir. Kalau kemungkinannya itu biasanya di akhir. Tapi nggak selalu. Kayak yang barusan ini tadi, dia pertama bilang psychology student. Tapi itu Sorry. Ya, psikologi atau literatur, saya lupa. Terus dia bilang itu nggak relevan. Terus mau coba departemen lain, yaitu history. Lalu yang ketiga dia bilang psikologi atau literatur, salah satunya. Terus dia bilang, oh dia nggak punya kenalan. Jadi ya lupakan aja lah tentang yang itu. Nah, berarti kita harus lihat benar-benar konteksnya dari tiga itu yang mana. Jadi harus, kalau ragu-ragu, tulis aja Kak di coret-coretan Kakak, dengarnya tadi apa. Nah, nanti baru setelah recordingnya selesai, nggak selesai sih, maksudnya kayak pindah ke nomor berikutnya itu baru dilihat, oh, tiga ini yang kira-kira yang benar yang mana. Seperti itu.
Oke, thank you, Miss. Kadang-kadang aku
Oke.
juga ini sedikit, sorry ya, Miss.
Nggak apa-apa,
Eh,
silakan.
Soalnya gini, kadang-kadang kan aku tuh biasanya mock up test paper based test ya, suka iseng-iseng nyoret-nyoret. Nah, tadi juga nyobain kan sebelum join kan diminta admin buat mock up test, terus aku kaget listening aku jadi agak jelek karena aku udah coret-coret gitu. Terus tesnya kan computer based nih. Jadi udah kelewat tuh waktunya dan segala macam. Ada tips nggak kayak misal pas kita coret-coret nih biar waktunya juga bisa cepet gitu. Oke, thank you, Miss.
Oke. Ini sebelumnya saya izin tanya, ini Kakak ambil mock testnya itu paper based datang ke kantornya atau yang dari English Fit disuruh ngerjain di link itu?
Suruh ngerjain yang di link itu.
Oh, berarti
Cuman
yang komputer ya?
Iya, nah aku juga
Computer
nanti
based.
ngambil IELTS-nya tuh di Juni tuh memang yang komputer gitu. Cuman biasanya aku kan, ya kita kan tes-tes ala-ala kan kita udah coret-coret aja gitu kan. Tapi pas nyobain yang beneran mock up test yang computer based test nih, wah lumayan ya ternyata gitu.
Oke. Tips dari saya, yang pertama ambil official testnya yang komputer ya teman-teman, jangan yang paper. Sumpah yang paper itu, wah, ini nggak kedengeran apa-apa kalau saya. Kalau yang komputer itu jelas. Kemudian, what is the tips? Nah, mereka tuh kan kasih buram. Jangan tulis semua informasi. Don't write down all of the things that you hear. It will take you a lot of time. Just write something that you are not sure. Kalau yang udah yakin, ya udah ketik aja langsung. Just type it on your computer. Because you will forget the answer later. And actually for the official task, they will give you some time to transfer your answer to the computer. So usually, they give you some time to read the questions, right? And then the audio is playing. You have to listen it while answering. Nah, if you're sure with your answer, just type it on your computer directly. But if you are not unsure, still type it on your computer. But write down your alternative answer on your paper. That's what your paper is supposed to be used for. And then after you write down and the recording is stopped, they will give you some time to check on your answer before you move on to the next section. And it will be like that for 4 sections. And at the end of the listening test, they will give you around 2 minutes to check all of your answer before you submit it. And for me personally, 2 minutes is not enough to check all of them. So you have to make sure your answer is correct at the first time you fill in the blank. That's my tips from my experience. But if some of you have another tips, you can share it as well to the class. Kalau tips saya seperti itu lah.
Okay, thank you, Miss.
Alright, that's fine. Maybe you need a lot of practice. Yeah, I'm sure that some people need a lot of practice. Listening and reading is about practice. Alright, let's continue with type 6 short answer question. Answer according to the word limit. Again, I remind you to always check the instruction before you start answering the question. Why? Because the instruction is very specific about what you need to fill in the blank. Mereka bilang one word only. Jadi apapun yang terjadi, in case you hear more than one word answer, you still have to decide one word answer. Misalkan adalah dia bilangnya psychology student. Which one do you have to put? Psychology or student? Kira-kira kalau kedengarannya psychology student, terus cuma boleh isi satu, kira-kira pick yang mana? Psikologinya atau studentnya?
Psychology, Miss.
Nah, it's incorrect. Just put the student.
Oh, okay.
Gitu ya. Ini contohnya aja. Karena gini, psychology student itu kan terdiri dari dua kata. Psychology itu adalah subjeknya, student adalah orangnya. Kalau misalkan nggak ada psikologi, tapi si orang ini dibilang murid, itu bisa. Tapi kalau misalkan dibilang psikologi aja, ini punya siapa psikologi, nggak tahu. Makanya kita ambil yang bagian belakangnya. Jadi misalkan ada sebuah kata yang beruntut panjang gitu, ambil bagian noun-nya aja. Ambil bagian kata bendanya. Biasanya seperti itu. Let's start with short answer question example.
Now listen and answer questions 24 to 30.
I've just had an idea. Why don't we make an in-depth study of our local public library as background to our paper?
Yes, that'd be interesting. And raise all sorts of issues. Let's make a list of possible things we could ask about, then work out some sort of structure. For instance, we could interview some of the staff and find out whether the library has its own budget or if that's controlled by the local council.
And what their policies are. I know they don't allow food, but I'd love to find out what types of noise they ban. There always seems to be a lot of talking, but never music. I don't know if that's a policy or it just happens.
I've often wondered. Then there are things like how the library is affected by employment laws. I suppose there are rules about working hours, facilities for staff and so on.
Right. Then there are other issues relating to the design of the building and how customers use it, like what measures does the library take to ensure their safety? They'd need floor coverings that aren't slippery, and emergency exits, for instance. Oh, and another thing, there's the question of the kind of insurance the library needs to have in case anyone gets injured.
Yes, that's something else to find out. You know something I've often wondered?
What's that?
Well, you know they've got an archive of local newspapers going back years. Well, next to it, they've got the diary of a well-known politician from the late 19th century. I wonder why it's there. Do you know what his connection was with this area?
No idea. Let's add it to our list of things to find out. Oh, I've just thought. You know, people might ask in the library about local organisations, like sports clubs. Well, I wonder if they keep a database, or whether they just look online.
Right. I quite fancy finding out what the differences are between a library that's open to the public and one that's part of a museum, for example. They must be very different.
Then something else I'd like to know is...
That is the...
Okay, so that's all for the short answer question example. And is there any questions for you? Is there any question for this question? Yang ini lebih susah ya dari yang kemarin, of course, karena dia ngomongnya lebih cepat. And then, tapi yang perlu diperhatikan adalah kata-kata yang ada di sini itu pasti disebutkan dalam recordingnya. So, don't worry if you don't know what is that. As long as you hear it on the recording, just put it right there. Kalau dengarnya apa, ya udah itu aja yang diletakkan di sini. Gitu. Itu untuk short answer question example. Kak, tipsnya apa untuk yang short answer question? Yang pertama, look at the instruction. One word only. So you have to think only one word. And then number 2, when you have time to read the question, try to guess the answer. For example, this one. It's required in case of accidents. Apa yang dibutuhkan kira-kira kalau kecelakaan? Mungkin medical atau apa. Tapi yang pasti di sini diisinya dengan sebuah noun, kata benda. Jadi expect to hear a noun about accident. Coba kira-kira yang berkaitan sama accident itu apa? Nanti kita dapat jawabannya yang insurance gitu. Dan yang ketiga, kalau kelewatan, ya udah move on. Because if you, for example, you already heard the word accident, but you cannot catch the insurance word. You just move on to the next one. Why a famous person diary is located in the library. Like that. Oke, silahkan Kak Santi, ada yang mau ditanyakan? Is there any questions?
Iya, Miss mau tanya mengenai penilaiannya. Misalnya kita ada typo penulisannya, misalnya hurufnya harusnya ada 2, misalnya T harusnya 2, tapi kita tulis 1 atau sebaliknya. Apakah penilaian itu akan dihitung total salah atau ada mempengaruhi penilaian juga? Maksudnya akan ada hitungannya lah sedikit gitu kalau yang computer based.
Unfortunately, it is totally incorrect.
Oke.
Yeah, any misspelling is incorrect. So you have to be really careful with the spelling. Kalau ejaannya salah, itu dihitungnya tetap salah. Apapun yang terjadi, mereka nggak peduli. Karena hitungnya cuman true or false, like that.
Oke, Miss. Thank you, Miss.
Oke, thank you. Oh ya, ini mungkin ada beberapa student yang just join with us. So I have to remind you, if you try to do a computer-based test IELTS listening, I recommend all of you to write down all of your answer in capital letter. Tulis semuanya dalam huruf kapital. Karena kita nggak tahu apakah mereka akan menilai berdasarkan huruf kapital juga atau tidak. Kadang a person name, nama orang, itu kan huruf depannya harus yang kapital terus kecil ya kan. Terus kita nggak ngeh, tulisnya pakai huruf kecil semua, padahal betul itu bisa disalahkan. However, for computer based, kalau kita tulis semuanya kapital, itu dianggap betul semua. Jadi nggak berlaku lagi aturan yang dia huruf kapital di depan atau enggak, karena semua punya kita huruf kapital. Jadi itu salah satu trik yang sudah saya gunakan 3 kali dan berhasil. Nah, jadi seperti itu. And then, what else? Ya, itu kemudian sebelum disubmit, kan tadi ada check your answer. Itu silakan cek juga spellingnya. Terutama ini, kadang itu yang saya sering keliru juga itu tentang jamak atau tunggal. Plural or satunya singular. Kayak misalkan indefinite pronoun, information. Nah, information kan biasanya tanpa S ya, jadi jangan sampai ke typo ada tulisan S-nya, udah nanti salah dia hitungannya, sayang banget. Lalu misalkan ada yang kelewatan nih, you don't know the answer, just try to guessing, don't leave it on blank. Jangan biarkan dia kosong, karena kalau salah itu ya udah salah, tapi kalau kosong tetap salah. Jadi lebih baik try your best to guess what is the answer. Kayak misalkan udah nggak tahu nih apa isinya, isi aja tetap, jangan dibiarkan kosong. Gitu. Kalau kosong pasti salah, tapi kalau you try to fill something on it, there will be a 50% it will be correct. Like that. That's my tips. Okay, so let's continue with completing sentences and summary.
And what about the lecturers themselves? Are they essentially the same as lecturers in your country?
Well, actually, no. Here they're much easier to approach. After every lecture, you can go and ask them something you didn't understand, or you can make an appointment and talk to them about anything in the course.
Maybe you found them different because you're a more mature student now, whereas when you were studying in your country, you were younger and not so assertive.
No, I don't think that's the difference. Most of the students here do it. In my faculty, they all seem to make appointments, usually to talk about something in the course that's worrying them, but sometimes just about something that might really interest them, something they might want to specialize in. The lecturers must set aside certain times every week when they're available for students.
That's good to hear.
Okay, that's all for this completing sentence example. Apakah yang ini lebih mudah atau lebih susah dari yang sebelumnya? Dari yang ini. Sebentar, yang mana ya? Ya, yang ini. Kira-kira lebih susah atau lebih mudah?
I think it's easier, Miss.
Ya, this one is easier untuk ditangkap. Karena yang ini dia jelas ya ngomongnya. Kalau yang tadi itu lebih cepat. Okay. And then the last type is complete. Ya, silakan. Is there any question?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was late.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
To join. I just wonder. I wonder why there is answered not blank when we're doing this task. Maksud saya kenapa udah ada isinya, Miss?
Oh,
udah
yang
ada isinya
dicontoh.
tadi yang ya.
Yang dicontoh ini.
Udah ada.
Karena buat belajar, Kak. Karena buat belajar.
Nggak kayak kemarin kan kosong.
Oh, kemarin juga ada kuncinya, Kak. Sama.
Oh, berarti saya terlambat ya. Sebelumnya kosong ya?
Iya, sebelumnya kosong. Tapi kalau yang di PPT yang saya tampilkan itu selalu ada. Nanti untuk yang latihannya yang di sini.
Oh,
yang latihannya
okay.
Yang terakhir. Belum. Ini belum sampai latihan.
Oke. Ya. Maaf.
Ini masih materi. It's okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so I will show you the last type of listening questions. It is completing notes. Nah, completing notes ini menurut saya salah satu yang paling challenging because there are a lot of words on the question itself. Karena ini banyak tulisannya di notes-nya. Sedangkan kita cuma punya waktu dikit banget untuk baca. Kalau yang ini kan pendek ya, gampang bacanya. Tapi kalau yang ini kan panjang. Nah, jadi you have to try skimming the word. Harus dibacanya cepat gitu. Kita coba baca untuk yang completing notes. Saya zoom dikit karena kecil banget.
Part 4. You will hear an archaeology student giving a presentation on an important site in Ireland called the KG Fields. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Ini part 4 ya. Jadi lebih panjang.
Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
For my presentation today, I'm going to talk about the KG Fields in the northwest of Ireland, one of the largest Neolithic sites in the world. I recently visited this site and observed the work that is currently being done by a team of archaeologists there. The site was first discovered in the 1930s by a local teacher, Patrick Caulfield. He noticed that when local people were digging in the bog, they were constantly hitting against what seemed to be rows of stones. He realized realized that these must be walls, and that they must be thousands of years old for them to predate the bog which subsequently grew over them. He wrote to the National Museum in Dublin to ask them to investigate, but no one took him seriously. It wasn't until 40 years later, when Patrick Caulfield's son, Seamus, who had become an archaeologist by then, began to explore further. He inserted iron probes into the bog to map the formation of the stones, a traditional method which local people had always used for finding fuel buried in the bog for thousands of years. Carbon dating later proved that the site was over 5,000 years old and was the largest Neolithic site in Ireland. Thanks to the bog which covers the area, the remains of the settlement at KG Fields, which is over 5,000 years old, are extremely well preserved. A bog is 90% water, its soil so saturated that when the grasses and heathers that grow on its surface die, they don't fully decay but accumulate in layers. Objects remain so well preserved in these conditions because of the acidity of the peat and the deficiency of oxygen. At least 175 days of rain a year are required for this to happen. This part of Ireland gets an average of 225 days. The Neolithic farmers at KG would have enjoyed several centuries of relative peace and stability. Neolithic farmers generally lived in larger communities than their predecessors, with a number of houses built around a community building. As they lived in permanent settlements, Neolithic farmers were able to build bigger houses. These weren't round, as people often assume, but rectangular, with a small hole in the roof that allowed smoke to escape. This is one of many innovations and indicates that the Neolithic farmers were the first people to cook indoors. Another new technology that Neolithic settlers brought to Ireland was pottery. Fragments of Neolithic pots have been found in KG and elsewhere in Ireland. The pots were used for many things, as well as for storing food. Pots were filled with a small amount of fat, and when this was set alight, they served as lamps. It's thought that the KG fields were mainly used as paddocks for animals to graze in. Evidence from the KG fields suggests that each plot of land was of a suitable size to sustain an extended family. They may have used a system of rotational grazing in order to prevent overgrazing and to allow for plant recovery and regrowth. This must have been a year-round activity, as no structures have been found which would have been used to shelter animals in the winter. However, archaeologists believe that this way of life at KG ceased abruptly. Why was this? Well, several factors may have contributed to the changing circumstances. The soil would have become less productive and led to the abandonment of farming. The crop rotation system was partly responsible for this, as it would have been very intensive and was not sustainable. But there were also climatic pressures too. The farmers at KG would have enjoyed a relatively dry period, but this began to change, and the conditions became wetter as there was a lot more rain. It was these conditions that encouraged the bog to form over the area, which survives today. So now I'd like to show you some...
Okay, that's it for the seed fields. The recording was seed fields. Do you think it is really hard or still understandable at this moment? Apakah aman kira-kira untuk yang part 4 ini?
I
Still,
think it's
Silakan, gimana?
because this blank is filled with the answer, so I think yes, we check the listening and easier to fill the blank. But if the blank is not filled, I think it's hard to understand the
Oh,
listening like that, Miss.
okay. Yeah, because this is an example answer, so it is easier for you to track down the question. But if it is a real task or your mock test, it is still in blank, so you find it difficult. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you for sharing, Kak Sofia. And then Kak Dik, what are you trying to say?
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is some part is understandable. Yeah, but when it's turned to some parts, it's getting not easy to understand. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Okay, all right. But I think that all of the vocabulary used here is basic level, right? You understand about the vocabulary, right? But you just don't catch the audio. Untuk
Yeah,
kata
maybe.
kosakatanya gampang kan ya di sini yang dipakai?
Yeah,
Yeah.
simple.
Simple.
Yeah, simple.
Cuman dia ngomongnya panjang, jadinya kita nggak tahu udah sampai mana dia. Ya itulah part 4. Oke, next one Kak Nuri.
Oke, Miss. Mau nanya lagi sih aku
Boleh.
tips lagi. Maaf.
Yeah, of course.
Karena kan misal
Silakan.
gini, kadang tuh aku suka apa ya? Suka terlena gitu kayak dia udah ngejelasin, udah diceritain kayak didongengin gitu, udah kemana gitu. Tapi ada similar words yang kayak apa? Sinonim apa antonim ya yang kayak beda gitu kan di
Sinonim.
pertanyaan. Nah, sinonim itu tuh karena kan kita juga kadang-kadang ada vocabulary yang aduh ini tuh apa ya persamaannya dan segala macam. Nah, ada nggak tips untuk kayak misal kayaknya tuh di sebelah sini atau enggak misalkan apanya gitu untuk ngecek ini tuh bisa kita akal-akalinnya gimana sih gitu. Thank you, Miss.
Oh, oke. Ini maksudnya nanya kita udah sampai mana gitu kah? Kehilangan jejak sampai mana atau gimana?
Ya misal nih, misalkan kayak apa ya, surface gitu, misal kata sinonimnya, nah yang dia jelasin tuh sinonimnya gitu,
Oh,
antonim ya berarti sebaliknya ya.
sinonim, persamaan.
Ya, sinonimnya gitu. Kan kita kayak, aduh ini yang tadi apa ya gitu, kayak kayak kan kadang-kadang kita vocabnya mungkin kita pas baca sih ngerti gitu, atau enggak pas dengerin ngerti, tapi pas ini tuh similar with yang mana sih gitu.
Oh, oke. Jawabannya simple banget. Jangan lihat pas di bagian sinonimnya. Lihat konteks secara keseluruhan. Kayak misalkan yang ini tadi. Yang a lack of, dia nggak bilang lack of, dia bilangnya deficiency. Nah, mungkin bagi orang awam apa itu defisiensi nggak tahu, misalkan nggak tahu gitu ya. Coba lihat kata-kata yang lain, try to understand the other word in the same sentence. Dia ada bilang well preserved. Berarti kita lagi sampai di tahap yang ini. Nah, kalau misalkan kita nggak tahu apa itu defisiensi, itu nggak apa-apa, tapi lihat kata-kata yang lain di dalam kalimat itu. Jadi misalkan yang ini, houses bla 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 in shape. Nggak tahu ini, tadi dia bilang ada circle, ada dia bilang rectangular gitu. Kira-kira yang mana? Coba tebak-tebak aja yang mana berdasarkan konteks kalimatnya. Kira-kira kalau misalkan dia sebut circle duluan, kemudian dikoreksi menjadi rectangular, berarti ada kemungkinan bahwa rectangular lah jawabannya. Kemudian yang bagian ini, pots used for storage. Dan tadi bilangnya banyak banget ya, dia nggak bilang storage. Tapi dia bilang pots, pottery. Nah, berarti kita gunakan dia sebagai patokan. Jadi, kalau misal kita nggak ngerti salah satu vocabulary here, try to use the alternative word in the same sentence. Gitu sih, Kak.
Oke, got it, Miss. Thank you.
Oke, thank you. Itu untuk yang di datas ya. Kalau yang, wah ini udah kepepet harus gimana. Tapi kalau misalkan you still have some time, try to find more synonym. I thought, in my personal opinion, synonym is not really helping here, but it will be really helpful for you for writing section. So you still need to explore a lot about vocabulary. Kalau di sini nggak terlalu bantu ya, tapi kalau di writing, itu salah satu penentu nilai bagus. And then here, what matter the most? Apa yang paling penting di IELTS listening? First, enhancing our ability to comprehend the recording is important to understand the main ideas and the supporting detail. Give attention to the detail and help you find the correct and accurate answer. Jadi, ya sama yang tadi kayak saya bilang ya, predict. Try to predict what kind of question they need. Misalkan kayak tadi accident itu ya. Nah, apa yang kira-kira berkaitan sama accident? Isinya harus noun, verb, atau adjective. Itu yang perlu dicatat. Kemudian, tips dan triknya. Pay attention and note-taking while listen to the recording practice. Tapi ini juga perlu disesuaikan. If you feel like you write faster than you type, you can write down your answer. But if you feel like you type faster and better than writing, just type it on your computer. For me, myself, I will type it directly to the computer. And then familiar yourself with a range of accent. Again, there will be a lot of accents, so you have to be familiar with that. Practice with listening to the recording only once. Same for what with the real test. After this, I will show you some practice. And follow the instruction. Many people losing their marks because they didn't pay extra attention to the right instruction. Okay, remember, my first tips is to look at the instruction. Sebelum ngapa-ngapain selalu cek di instruksinya disuruh apa. Isi dengan satu kata. So you have to fill in only one word. Fill in with a number, ya udah satu aja. Fill in with the letter, ya udah satu aja, satu huruf aja. Fill in with 2 letter, ya berarti isi 2, tergantung sama perintahnya. And then follow, oh ini udah tadi. Pay attention to speaker tone, rhythm, and pauses. Nah ini yang perlu diperhatikan. Kalau misalkan kita bingung, ini kok jawabannya banyak kali, coba perhatikan di bagian penekanannya. Biasanya dia kalau mau nyebutin jawaban itu kadang di pause sebentar atau malah ditekanin banget. Kayak yang tadi misalkan accident, dia bilang insurance. Atau deficiency of oxygen, dia bilang gitu tadi. Bukan deficiency of oxygen, tapi dia bilang deficiency of oxygen. Ada dibuat-buat sama dia. Nah, itulah jawabannya. Sometimes we will find the keyword or even answer. And then listening to English podcast and try to summarize the point. Ya kalau ini saya biasanya nggak coba sih, tapi nggak summarize sih saya. Biasanya cuma didengerin lalu, oh ya dia tentang ini gitu. Tapi kalau misal masih nggak paham, try to turn on the subtitle. It will help. Try to repeat and recall the important information such as names, numbers, and location. Jadi ketika kita mendengarkan, ini khususnya buat yang part 1 sama part 2 ya. Itu kan banyak tentang name, number, and location. Apalagi dapatnya yang mapping. Nah, itu harus dicatat di buramnya. Okay, and what is the biggest challenge in IELTS listening? The first one is stay focused during the recording. Tadi kayak kata Kak Nuri, sometimes I feel like the recording is like a lullaby, seperti Nina Bobo. Kita akhirnya nggak fokus ya. Nah, itu yang perlu diperhatikan adalah always keep yourself focused on the keyword of the question. Kalau misalkan lagi dengerin recording, selain dengarkan, itu juga perhatikan keyword yang ada di questionnya, di pertanyaannya. Makanya dia kasih waktu, they gave us time to look at the question first. And you can highlight the question. That's why. Practice active listening, listen to first accent, and practice listening to things only once. And then, okay, the activity is, wait, I forgot. But this. All right, I will show you the listening task here. We finished until number 6 yesterday, so we can continue it until part 4 if we have some times, and later I will show you the key answer. I will give you some time, maybe 1 minute from now, to prepare a piece of paper or your phone. You can use your phone or anywhere else. Just try to prepare yourself with something comfortable for you to take notes on your answer. Silahkan persiapkan dulu medianya untuk mencatat jawabannya. Saya akan play audionya sebentar lagi. Okay, ready and 3, 2, 1.
That is a good thing.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
Gitanjali, in your research, did you come across anything about the world brain?
Yes, I did. It's actually very interesting. Throughout the 1930s, Wells predicted and supported the setting up of a huge world encyclopedia. And towards the end of the decade, in 1938, he wrote a series of essays called World Brain. In these essays, he called for the world to make use of modern technology to create an enormous global encyclopedia so that all our knowledge is available to all people, not just an educated elite. Wells envisioned this as probably being on microfilm. He thought it would allow anyone, anywhere in the world, to look at any book or any document. He also thought it would be created by everyone, once again, not just by an elite.
Yes, and as you can imagine, many people today say that the internet has basically fulfilled his prediction. Of course, it doesn't use microfilm, but essentially, it does meet all Wells's main requirements.
That is the end of part 1.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Now turn to Section 2.
Section 2. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 15. Now, listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Mark has talked about a small animal. I'm going to give you a talk about a very big one. It's the giraffe, a tall, long-necked, spotted ruminant. Male giraffes are usually about 6 meters tall. Half of the giraffe's height comes from its neck, which is longer than its legs. A baby giraffe is 2 meters tall at birth. It can stand up by itself within a few minutes and can run well in about 2 days. A giraffe has big brown eyes which are protected by very thick lashes. Since it lives in parts of Africa which are usually dry with a great deal of dust, the lashes are an important source of protection. It can also cover its nostrils in order to protect its nose. It has 2 short horns on its head. Like the camel, the giraffe can go a long time without drinking water. One source of water is the leaves which the giraffe eats from trees. Since it is so tall, the giraffe can reach the tender leaves at the top of a tree. Giraffes usually live in small herds and often feed with other animals. Giraffes have two methods of self-protection. If something frightens an adult giraffe, it can gallop away at about 50 kilometers per hour, or stay to fight with its strong legs. Well, that's all I know about giraffes.
Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 16 to 20. Now listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Peter and Kate have met in the coffee bar and they were having coffee together. Hi there, how are you going with your tutorial next week?
Oh, good. I've decided to talk about paper and its use.
Fascinating, I'm sure.
Yes, I think it's an interesting topic. Do you know how much paper you use every year?
Well, I've never thought about that. I can't answer your question. I suppose you can tell me something about it.
Okay. It'll be good practice for my tutorial next week.
How much paper does one person use every year?
In 1900, the world's use of paper was about 1 kilogram for each person in a year. Now, some countries use as much as 50 kilograms of paper for each person in a year.
This shows how far advanced the country is.
You're right. Countries like the United States, Britain, Japan, Germany and Sweden certainly use more paper than other countries.
I'm very interested in the history of paper. Are you going to talk about it next week?
Yes, of course.
Where was paper first made?
In China. The Chinese first made paper about 2,000 years ago. China still has pieces of paper which were made as long ago as that. But Chinese paper was not made from the wood of trees. It was made from the hair-like parts of certain plants. In Egypt and the West, paper was not very commonly used before the year 1400. The Egyptians wrote on papyrus, a kind of paper made from the pith of the stems of tall aquatic cyperaceous plants. Europeans used parchment for many hundreds of years.
What was parchment?
Parchment was made from the skin of certain young animals. They were very strong. We have learnt some of the most important facts of European history from records that were kept on parchment.
Oh, I see. How about paper in Europe?
Well, paper was not made in southern Europe until about the year 1100. Scandinavia, which now makes a great deal of the world's paper, but didn't begin to make it until 1500. It was a German named Schraffler who found out that the best paper could be made from trees. After that, Canada, Sweden, Norway, Finland and the United States became the most important in paper making. They are forest countries. Today, Finland makes the best paper in the world, and the paper industry of the country is the biggest in the world. New paper-making machines are very big, and they make paper very fast. The biggest machines can make a piece of paper 300 meters long and 6 meters wide in 1 minute.
Oh my goodness, that's amusing.
What are the uses of paper?
Paper is used for newspapers, books, writing paper, envelopes, wrapping paper, paper bags.
Yes, only half of the paper that is made is used for books and newspapers. Have you got an idea about other uses of paper?
No, I'm afraid not.
There are many other uses. Paper is very good for keeping you warm. Houses are often insulated with paper. You have perhaps seen homeless people asleep on a large number of newspapers.
Yes, I have. So they're insulating themselves against the cold.
You are right. In Finland, it is very cold in winter. It is sometimes 40 degrees below 0 centigrade. The farmers wear paper boots in the snow. Nothing could be warmer.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
Now more and more things are made of paper. We have had paper plates, cups and dishes for a long time. But now we hear that chairs, tables and even beds can be made of paper. With paper boots and shoes, you can wear paper hats, paper dresses, and paper raincoats. When you have used them once, you throw them away and buy new ones. You know, the latest in paper seems to be paper houses. These are not small houses for children to play in, but real, big houses for people to live in. You can put one up yourself in a few hours, and you can use it for about 5 years.
Fascinating.
People have made paper boats. They have not yet made paper planes or cars. Just wait, they probably will.
Well, I'm sure your tutorial will go really well.
That is the
Okay, so that's the end for this recording, and I think that there are too much distractor on this task. Ada banyak noisesnya, tapi masih bisa kejawab, Pak. Nanti setelah ini kita pindah ke yang ini aja, untuk yang nomor 21 sampai 40. But that's fine. Let's do it this one. Okay. So number 7. What do you think is the answer? Ada yang
30s?
nangkep?
30s?
Ya, 1930s ya. Ya, 1930s, betul.
Yeah.
1930. Okay, good. And then number 8.
World brain?
Yeah, that's correct. World brain. Benar. World brain. Number 9.
I don't know exactly, but it's like to all people. To all people.
No, not that. The answer is modern technology. Kita coba dengarkan sekali lagi yang bagian itu.
Oh.
He also thought it would be created by everyone, once again, not just by an elite.
Yes, and as you can imagine, many people today say that the internet has basically...
Ini, the internet itu jawabannya nomor 10. And then number 9, itu adalah yang ini, world brain.
In these essays, he called for the world to make use of modern technology to create...
He called to make use of modern technology to create
an enormous global
encyclopedia
so that all our knowledge.
Nah, itulah jawabannya nomor 9, modern technology. Ini suara recordingnya patah-patah nggak ya, Kak? Atau enggak?
Iya,
Aman?
Miss.
Iya, sedikit patah.
Agak patah-patah.
Patah-patahnya gimana? Kayak geret gitu atau ke stop?
Terstop, terputus.
Oh, oke. Alright. Nanti kalau di real testnya nggak kayak gitu kok, tenang aja. Kayaknya itu gara-gara itu deh, apa namanya, copyright-nya dia. Jadi dia sengaja bikin patah-patah. Okay, now number 11 until number 15. This one is super easy. I bet you guys can finish this. Number 11, what is the answer?
6.
Betul, 6 meter tall. And number 12, what is that?
2.
Yep, 2 meters tall. Number 13, big and?
Brown.
Good job.
Brown.
Number 14, without drinking?
Water.
Good. Number 15, fight with?
Strong legs.
16 kilometers.
Yang tadi bilang strong legs, bener ya? Strong legs, tapi ingat, silahkan lihat di bagian instructionnya no more than 1 word. Berarti kalau ada strong legs, kita pilih yang mana? Strong atau legs?
Legs.
Iya, betul. Jadi kita jawabnya cuma fight with legs. Berantem pakai kaki. Good job. And then number 16. How much paper does a person, ini agak sulit yang ini. How much paper does a person in some countries use in a year? Ada yang dapat jawabannya tadi berapa?
1 kilogram.
1 kilogram. 1 kilogram.
No isi tadi.
50 kg.
Just here 1 kilogram.
Ada yang jawab 1, ada lagi yang lain jawabannya selain 1 kilogram?
15.
15 kilogram.
15. Oke, ada lagi?
50 kg.
50 kg. Oke, that's
19.
correct. 50. Yang betul adalah 50. 50 kilograms. Jadi dia bilang dua seingat saya ada 2 kalimat. Yang pertama itu dia bilang 1 kilogram. Tapi itu zaman dulu. Yang zaman sekarang udah naik jadi 50 kilogram per orang. Jadi the answer is 50 kilogram. Not 15 ya, harus hati-hati ya. And then number 17. What was Chinese paper made from?
Wooden trees.
Wooden trees. Oke, ada lagi? Oke, kita coba dengar ya. Tadi yang wooden trees itu masih kurang tepat.
Like parts of certain plants. In Egypt and the West.
Nah, ini jawabannya. From the hair-like parts of certain plants. Jadi jawabannya certain plants. Yang nomor 17. And then number 18. Who found out the paper could be made from trees? This one is easy. Kedengaran tadi harusnya. Siapa yang nemuin?
Egypt.
Bukan.
Egyptian.
bukan Egypt.
Bukan ya?
European.
Sorry.
Ya, European, but very specific. Ada lebih spesifiknya, Kak, tadi.
Jerman.
That's correct. Siapa tadi yang jawab Jerman? That's correct. German. Yang menemukan papernya. Kita coba dengarin.
West. Paper was not very commonly used before the year 1400. The Egyptians wrote on papyrus, a kind of ants. Europeans used parchment for many hundreds of years.
What was parchment?
Parchment was one of the most important facts of Europe. Well, paper was not made in southern Europe until about the year 1100. Scandinavia, which now makes a great deal of the world's paper, but didn't begin to make it until 1500. It was a German named Schraffler who
Yeah, it was a German named Schaeffler who found that paper. Ya, kalau jawab Schaeffler benar-benar bisa jawab Schaeffler nggak apa-apa sih, tapi jawabnya German karena kan dia nggak spelling namanya, kita nggak tahu spellingnya. Jadi jawab German aja. And then number 19, which country makes the best paper? Which country makes the best paper?
Finland, no?
Yes, that's correct. Finland. Sebetulnya ya ada kayak bantuannya di nomor 20 sih, Kak. Karena kan ada tulisannya why do some people in Finland? Jadi kita bisa conclude mungkin jawaban sebelumnya adalah Finland. Kita coba dengarkan.
found out that the best paper and the United States became the most important in paper making. They are forest countries. Today, Finland makes the best paper in the world.
Today, Finland makes the best paper in the world. So that's the answer for 19, Finland. And then the last one, why do some people in Finland wear paper boots in the snow in winter? Is there anyone know the answer?
Warmer.
Okay, that's correct. Warmer boleh, tapi warm yang tepat. Keep warm. And then, ada lagi? Ini ya. Good for keeping you warm. Jadi di sini jawabnya keep warm. Atau to keep you warm boleh. Atau keeping you warm boleh. Bebas. Atau keep warm tok juga nggak apa-apa. Yang penting ada kata warm-nya. Alright, that's for section 1 and 2. Now let's move on to section 4, but I will find another recording. Let's try with this one.
Are resisted by the majority.
Kita coba yang part 4 ya, karena yang ini yang termasuk paling paling tricky.
Part 4. Part 4.
You're going to hear a talk about the English policeman.
Ini masih patah-patah kah?
Masih, Miss.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's because the copyright.
First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40.
Kalau yang recording yang tadi, yang drive itu juga patah-patah, Kakak? Yang di PPT.
Yang terakhir kah?
Yang di PPT. Yang tadi yang saya pakai Google Drive. Yang di PPT.
Noisy sih tadi.
Oh, oke. Ya, kalau gitu beneran ini copyright-nya.
Now, listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
The English policeman has several nicknames, but the most frequently used are Copper and Bobby. The first name comes from the verb to cop, which is also slang, meaning to take or to capture. And the second comes from the first name of Sir Robert Peel, the 19th century politician who was the founder of the police force as we know it today. An early nickname for the policeman was Peeler, but this one has died out. Whatever we may call them, the general opinion of the police seems to be a favourable one, except, of course, among the criminal part of the community, where the police are given more derogatory nicknames which originated in America, such as Fuzz or Pig. Visitors to England seem nearly always to be very impressed by the English police. It has, in fact, become a standing joke that the visitor to Britain, when asked for his views of the country, will always say, at some point or other, "I think your policemen are wonderful." Well, the British Bobby may not always be wonderful, but he is usually a very friendly and helpful sort of character. A music hall song of some years ago was called "If You Want to Know the Time, Ask a Policeman." Nowadays, most people own watches, but they still seem to find plenty of other questions to ask the policeman. In London, the policemen spend so much of their time directing visitors about the city that one wonders how they ever find time to do anything else. Two things are immediately noticeable to the stranger when he sees an English policeman for the first time. The first is that he does not carry a pistol, and the second is that he wears a very distinctive type of headgear, the policeman's helmet. His helmet, together with his height, enables an English policeman to be seen from a considerable distance, a fact that is not without its usefulness. From time to time it is suggested that the policeman should be given a pistol and that his helmet should be taken from him, but both these suggestions are resisted by the majority of the public and the police themselves. However, the police have not resisted all changes. Radios, police cars, and even helicopters give them greater mobility now. The policeman's lot is not an enviable one, even in a country which prides itself on being reasonably law-abiding. But, on the whole, the English policeman fulfills his often thankless task with courtesy and good humour, and with an understanding of the fundamental fact that the police are the country's servants, and not its masters.
That is the end of part 4.
You
now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, let's discuss the key answer. What is the answer for number 31?
Capture.
Capture, that's great. And number 32, Bobby comes from the
Politician.
politician. Okay, other answer? Ada lagi jawaban yang lain? The
Nickname.
nickname, okay. Any other else? Ada yang lain? Jawabannya first name ya. First name of Sir Robert Peel. Kita coba lihat ini. The first name comes from the verb, sorry, yang ini. Central politician was the founder. Nickname for the first name of Sir Robert Peel yang tadi. Who was the founder of the police? Apa tadi? Police apa? 33? Police? Anyone knows the answer for number 33?
I didn't know.
Okay.
Because tadi patah-patah.
Oh, okay. Saya mulai lagi. Coba.
But this one has died out. Whatever we may call them, the general opinion of the police seems to be a favourable one, except we may call for the policeman was Peeler. But this one has died out. Whatever we may call them, the general opinion of the police seems to be a favourable one. Whatever we call a politician, who is the founder of the police force as we know it today.
Founder of the police force. Founder of the police force. Angkatan polisi. Police force. Peeler used to be an early nickname for the policeman, but this one has 34. What is that? Nah, kalau kayak gini kita bisa predik ya, 34 itu isinya bakal apa. Karena dari tenses-nya udah kelihatan bahwa ini present perfect tense, sehingga di sini harusnya isinya verb. Maka kita coba dengarkan. Atau ada yang mau nebak dulu nih, 34 apa jawabannya kira-kira?
Die.
Iya, sorry Kak, suaranya kecil banget.
Sorry Miss, died.
Okay, that's great. Died, has died out. That's correct. Kita coba dengerin.
An early nickname for the policeman was Peeler, but this one has died out.
But this one has died out. Tapi sudah ditinggalkan. The British Bobby is a very friendly and blah 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 sort of character. What is that? Friendly and helpful. Yeah. Good job. Helpful. That's correct.
Whatever we may call them, the general opinion of the police seems to be a favourable one, except, of course, among the criminal part of the community, where the police are given more derogatory nicknames, which originated in America, such as Fuzz or Pig. Visitors to England seem nearly always to be very impressed by the English police. It has, in fact, become a standing joke that the visitor to Britain, when asked for his views of the country, will always say, at some point or other, "I think your policemen are wonderful." Well, the British Bobby may not always be wonderful, but he is usually a very friendly and helpful sort of character.
Very friendly and helpful sort of character. Ini dia directly cuman baca yang ada di sini ya. Persis sama seperti yang ada di sini. And then they are very busy blah 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 visitors about the city. What is the answer for 36? Kira-kira jawabannya pakai verb, noun, atau adjective? Verb, noun, or adjective kalau seperti ini. Dia sibuk, bla bla bla. Pakai verb ya, kata kerja ya. Karena awalnya ada very busy. Betul Kak, verb. Dia sangat sibuk ngapain? Nah, kita dengarkan.
A music hall song of some years ago was called Most People Own Watches, but they still seem to find plenty of other questions to ask the policeman. In London, the policemen spend so much of their time directing visitors.
The policemen spend so much of their time directing visitors. So much of their time berarti kan busy ya. Dia sibuk ngapain? Directing visitors. Kalau misalkan nih nggak kedengeran yang awalnya so much of their time, tapi ada kata visitorsnya, berarti kata sebelumnya that's the answer. So the answer is directing visitors.
About the city.
Okay, and then number 37. It's super clear. Number 37 is super clear. Carry a. This is a noun, kata benda.
Pistol.
Yes, that's correct. Pistol. Carry a pistol. Kita coba lihat. Dia agak jauh kok dari ini.
Helmet. Second is that he wears a very distinctive.
The first
is that he does not carry a pistol.
He does not carry a pistol. He does not carry a pistol. An English policeman can be seen from a distance because of his height, tingginya, and his 38. And his 38, what is the answer? Ada yang mau coba jawab?
And the second is that he wears a very distinctive type of headgear, the policeman's helmet.
The policeman helmet. Very distinctive type of headgear. Perlengkapan kepala yang sangat mencolok. Can be seen from a distance. Karena his height, tingginya, dan helmnya. And his helmet. The police are aware that they are the countries with. Ini di bagian akhir-akhir. The countries with servants. Correct. Wonderful. Country servant and not is
Master.
correct. Kurang dikit Kak, masters. Hati-hati ya, nanti kalau di tes yang beneran dia bilang S atau enggaknya harus benar-benar diperhatiin. Tapi udah betul tadi. Yang pertama servants, yang kedua master. Kita coba lihat.
From him, house. However, the police have not resisted all changing now. The policeman's lot is not an enviable one. Even in a country which prides itself on being feels his often thankless that the police are the country's servants and not its
Are the country's servants pelayan negara
masters.
And not its master, dan bukan tuannya. Dan bukan juragannya, not its master. Ini sama-sama pakai plural, jadi harus hati-hati di bagian sini. Okay, that's it for the part 4. Is there any questions as this part? Apakah ada pertanyaan? Mungkin tips dan trik dan lainnya karena besok kita akan beralih ke reading section. Oke, aman semua? All right, everything's clear. And now let's do the attendance list once again. Excel Kevinsius Halim, apakah ada? Haura Malika, are you here? Sylvia Saputri, are you here? Kak Sylvia Saputri? Guys, is my voice audible? I'm scared that my signal unstable.
Aman, Miss.
Okay, aman, thank you. Kak Sylvia, are you here? Okay, maybe she's not here. All right, that's all. Is there anyone that hasn't been presented yet? Adakah yang belum di absensi di sini? Has been called yet, sorry. Sudah semua ya? All right, I think that's all that we can do for today. And if you have any further questions about listening, you can always ask me on the group chat. Thank you so much for coming today and see you on Saturday, guys, on reading section. Bye-bye. Good evening.
you, Miss.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.